Morning. It's great to have you by. It's Jim, Deb, and Kevin.
It's one of those days where I have to say I'm sorry to Deb because she was right. I was wrong. Mentioned this earlier. I loaded my truck, the wrong truck. I thought it was my truck.
Yeah, were you at Lowe's or something?
Yeah, I was at Lowe's. I put some lumber in a bed of a truck, and then I realized it was not my truck. My truck was parked about 3 spaces down, so I had to unload the lumber from that truck.
Which looked like you were stealing it.
Exactly. So, and I know, Deb, you've had incidents like this, and I made fun of you, and now I have to say I'm sorry. It
Thank you.
could happen to anybody.
It could.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those deals. It's like where you stop, you look around thinking, is anybody seeing me do this?
yeah.
How about you, Heather?
So I've been married for a long time, and I was at a carnival with my husband a few years back. I went to get a drink and come back, and I'm just like rubbing away on his back. And I turn and look, and my husband's standing like 10 feet away laughing at me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh, my God, and pull my hand off. And this guy turns around and smirks, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I thought you were my husband. My husband's dying laughing.
Well, I know, but what about the guy?
He's enjoying it.
I wasn't going to turn down a free back rub. So I felt like the biggest idiot in the world, and my husband just dying. I'm like, oh, my God.
All right. Thank you, Heather. Yes, it can, as Deb always says, it can happen to him.
We got an email from Don. He says that now he didn't know if this story is true or not, but he shared it with me. He said an elderly woman's coming out of a grocery store in Florida, and she sees 4 teens in her car, and she walks up to him and yells and says, Get out of the car. I have a gun. And she pulls her gun out. She says, and I'm not afraid to shoot you. Well, the 4 teens get out of the car immediately. They run like scared rabbits. And then she looks inside the car and sees a football and a 12-pack of beer and realizes that wasn't her car. She scared off some kids.
Yeah, that's one of those you look around, you'll know that could get you in some trouble.
No,
Right?
serious trouble.
I was thinking that with Kevin putting lumber in the wrong truck. I mean,
Right.
these days.
Oh, yeah.
I would worry about any of that.
Yeah. So again, it can happen to anybody.
Anyway, you apologize.
Deb,
That's all
you're
over
right.
now.
Wait, did you just say, Deb, you're right?
I said it.
Can I get that on?
I've said it twice. I'm not going to say it again.